In the ongoing trade war, the United States has slapped China with the highest tariffs. Why? Well, the answer is simple. The trade war has been launched to curtail US trade deficit, and since China is the largest source of US trade deficit, it has been slapped with the highest tariffs. However, trade is just one aspect of the strategic rivalry between China and the United States, and there are many other aspects as well which we need to look into. The strategic rivalry refers to the context between the states who see each other as not only competitors but adversaries as well. Both states are involved in a zero sum game which must end in the defeat of the other, just as the Cold War ended in the collapse of the USSR. You are watching Wisdom of Life. No doubt, economic competition between China and US is very important to their relations. China and US represents the two largest economy in the world. US is the largest economy followed by China. And as you can see, the size of US economy is $27 trillion while that of China is only $18 trillion. So on this ground, US should not be scared of China. However, if we take a long-term perspective, then we can see that why US is so worried about the rise of China. For example, in the year 2000, the size of US economy was $10 trillion, while that of Chinese economy was only $1 trillion. US accounted for 30% of the global output, while China's share in global economy was only 4%. And we can see that during the last 23 years, US economy has grown by nearly 3 times, while that of Chinese economy has grown by 18 times. US share in global economic output has declined from 30% to 26%, while that of China has risen from 4% to 17%. And at the current growth rates, China is predicted to become the top economy of the world by 2035. China has already become the world's largest exporter of goods and is the country which has the highest trade surplus in the world. And it is China's trade surplus and the huge foreign exchange reserves that China has accumulated due to its trade surplus that is bankrolling China's global initiative of the Belt and Road. Now, what does the large trade deficit means for the US? It means loss in jobs, particularly in the manufacturing sector, increasing debt to GDP ratio, which has reached nearly 96% of US economy, and the fall in US long-term growth. Now, what is the relationship between the decline in manufacturing and US trade deficit? Is US trade deficit the cause or effect of the decline in US manufacturing? Well, the relationship between the two goes both ways. In the beginning, the trade deficit was caused by the decline in US manufacturing as US moved from greatly towards the services instead of manufacturing. But later, the decline in manufacturing also became the effect of US trade deficit as US companies started investing overseas. So we can see that over the years, US share the share of manufacturing is in US economy has drastically come down. And since 2000, US has lost nearly 5 million jobs in manufacturing. Now we will compare manufacturing in US and China. China currently accounts for 29% of global manufacturing, while that of US is 15%, nearly half of China. Now we pass on to the geostrategic rivalry between the United States and China, of which Taiwan is an important plank. Taiwan was formerly a part of China, but after the 1949 Communist Revolution in China broke away from the mainland. It is located in Indo-Pacific, which has a network of US allies and partners, as you can see, like Japan, South Korea, and Philippines. If Taiwan remains autonomous, Chinese military will struggle to project power far beyond China's shores. However, if China comes to control Taiwan and bases its military assets on the island, it can limit US ability to defend its Asian allies. Hence, the status quo in Taiwan Strait will enable the US to maintain balance of power in the region in its favor. Taiwanese company also manufacture 70% of the world's semiconductor and 90% of the most advanced chips. And as we know that in today's world, the most important product is the semiconductors or chips, which are used in every product, every electronic product. Therefore, Taiwan is crucial for the United States to win the tech war over China. And if US wins the tech war over China, it will also be able to contain China. I trust you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life. Thanks for your time.